Welcome to Elevation Nation with your hosts Sam Panich and Parker Yablon. Elevation Nation is a community focused on bringing together young adults who are elevating themselves and others every day. Each week, we welcome a new elevator to share their story and experiences to help you conquer the real world.
Anytime we get to bring on a fellow Terp from College Park, Maryland, it's a damn good day for Elevation Nation. We're excited to welcome on the CEO of Talent Hacker, Raz Malas. Welcome to Elevation Nation, brother. It's long overdue. I'm excited that we get to welcome you to our community, and maybe we'll talk some Maryland. I don't know if we can talk football anymore as season's awash. Maybe basketball? Is that what we're looking forward to next now?
Yeah, right. It's possible.
It's crazy. Welcome to the nation, man. We're excited to have you. How's life?
Thanks, man. Appreciate you for having me on. Life's good. Can't complain, man. Just working. Thinking, it's all business right now. That's kind of the priority currently. But other than that, man, health is there. Family's good. Thank you. How about you guys?
Things are good. I wouldn't say it's all business, but it's a lot of business. It's a lot of balancing real family, friends time with business. But, we're elevating. That's what we're all about here at Elevation Nation. We keep pressing on when shit gets hard or when, stuff becomes a success. We take a second, we look back, we acknowledge it, and then we keep going. Raz, it's great to have you in Elevation Nation. We do start every episode the exact same way. For those who don't know you, we need to hear an elevator pitch. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, do you want like kind of elevator pitch that's only business or all around?
I think, what is your all-around elevator pitch for Raz?
Okay, Raz. Raz is a 28-year-old, healthy, good-looking man that is a entrepreneur, comes from an entrepreneurial family. I'm a family man, but the whole household is all entrepreneurs, 4 boys, and I'm building my second venture now. I'm on my second company. Out of college, I was selling on Amazon in college and built up a company that ran 50 different private label brands on Amazon. Did that for the first 5-6 years of my career, and then over the last 2, been building this staffing and recruiting agency that focuses on offshore talent and connecting offshore remote talent into online businesses, agency businesses in the U.S. So we hire from all over the world. For my Amazon company, we staffed over 150 people internationally, and I figured it's probably a good model to monetize and help other businesses do the same. And so through this agency, I've helped other businesses do what we did in my Amazon company, and it's been a win-win-win situation for everybody involved, helping people get jobs, helping businesses grow and scale at an affordable rate, and making money while doing it. So that's kind of the high level.
You're crushing it, man.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So I want to go back a little bit. You've always been an entrepreneur. You said your family's entrepreneurs. Talk to us about that. How has entrepreneurship been in your blood, and how have you kind of taken that forward and embodied that in who Raz is?
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because my father immigrated here when he was 22 years old. He started selling chickens, and that was his first business in America. And then he went off to he built a manufacturing. He became a manufacturer of textiles. He helped create dresses and things like that back before NAFTA. And then after that, he became a real estate developer. He's been doing that for the last 25 years. And then one of my older brothers joined him in that venture. And then, it's just always been like in our blood. Like, I didn't go to college with the intention of getting a job afterwards. I went to college with the intention of building up a network, learning about myself and who I am, my social skills, and communication skills, and then figuring out how I could build a business thereafter. When I was graduating college, e-commerce was booming. Digital businesses became a thing. It's something that my family hasn't been involved in. They've been involved in really kind of blue collar businesses. So I was kind of the first to go digital. And I saw that you don't need to be tied down to one geographical location to run a business anymore. We're in this era that is unprecedented, that you could become a top 1% income earner, an entrepreneur, but do it from anywhere in the world. And that was very appealing for me early on. I graduated in 2019, so I didn't know office work to be, from when I graduated. I graduated started building through COVID. So, it's great to be around entrepreneurs all my life, and even as I'm building, it's incredibly helpful, and it's priceless to have my family around me to talk to about the problems I'm going through. I have my problems, they have their problems, and we kind of are able to talk through them and get really valuable insight both ways. So it's been great.
I thought it was really interesting that you said that you went to college with the intention to not get a job afterwards, like the normal traditional college goer. I think most people go in and be like, yeah, I'm going to go get that degree. I'm going to study so that I can get hired or make myself more marketable to a company or grad school or, whatever that next step looks like. So I think it's pretty fascinating because for you said, I'm going to learn social skills, communication, and network and meet people. I imagine that was very helpful to you, as you just jumped right into it. But then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And no one could meet anybody. But yet you're trying to build a company across the globe? Is that right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating. It's very cool. So now we're in this position. You've been building Talent Hackers, a completely, this is your second business, right?
Yes. Second business.
Unreal. And so what is it like to work with people from all over the globe, yet maybe never having to meet them one time, ever?
Yeah. It's actually so interesting. I feel like I've only been building remote since I was 17 or 15, really. I won't go there, but basically, yeah, I mean, it's so funny. We have been remote forever. I feel like it's given me the ability to grow big and to get the support that I need without feeling so overwhelmed in the business I'm building. What I mean by that is because the business is remote and I can leverage talent remote, I can figure out what to delegate in an efficient manner and just grow that much bigger because of the support I have around me. Does that make sense? So, you can hire talent internationally for 80% less than it costs to hire a U.S. equivalent. So I can hire a social media manager internationally that costs me less than $20,000 a year, between $15,000 and $30,000 a year, call it. And in the U.S., if I wanted to hire a social media manager, it's going to cost me $80,000 a year, call it 90 with payroll taxes and benefits, etc. Maybe you get someone out of college for a little bit cheaper, but it's very, very expensive. And so, yeah, I mean, I can get a lot of resources around me to help me build my vision when you can't. It's harder to do that in the real world. I mean, in the physical world. So, yeah.
It's a cool model. I mean, obviously, so many people are learning the power of having an international or even AI-driven workforce behind your business, especially for young entrepreneurs. So where you're headed with the business is spot on with the trends that we're seeing in the marketplace. I want to go back to one thing, though, before we move on and nerd out on business, because I started the podcast off talking about Terps and Maryland pride. And then, Raz, you dropped in, yeah, I went to college to just meet people, right, and work on my communication skills. So I have a few questions because I love that answer. Parker and I debate this all the time. If I had a kid right now, which I don't, that I'm aware of, so that's good. But if I had a kid that was going into college, I would say take the tuition money. You can take part of that to pay for your housing. You can join Greek Life if you want. And you can use the rest of the money to start up a business or learn how you want to learn, whether that's shadowing someone, etc. And I want you to get a more blue-collar job just to learn how to work hard. I have a buddy, he went to Maryland with us. He came on the podcast a few years ago, was graduating from Maryland and was going into dentistry. And he said, I'm taking a break in between graduating and starting dental school. I'm moving to Austin, Texas, and I'm going to be a bouncer, which is hilarious because he's like 150 pounds. And I'm going to work in a food truck because I just want to meet people, learn those skills, and like, I don't know, be normal. And so I think that mindset is becoming more and more common as we see AI taking so many of the white collar jobs. We're now needing to rethink how we educate our young people. So I'm curious, to go full circle, you obviously took a different path with what you wanted to do after school. If you had a kid that said, Dad, I'm ready to commit to University of Maryland, what would you advise them to do?
So this is it's funny you're asking this question because I have a little brother who's 17, a senior in high school, and he's deciding whether or not he wants to go to college. And I don't even know if I should if I should say this. It's that answer I gave you was because of a lot of the things I've been discussing internally within my family right now. This is like in real time what's going on. The answer is this: if you have a reason to go to college, right? And if you have a reason to go and study a particular subject, and you need to go to college in order to get to that career, you then go to college. 100%. You know you want to be a doctor. You know you want to be a lawyer. You know you want to be a dentist. You know you want to be an engineer. You have to go to college. You can't just shadow someone and get there. No, you need a degree. But if you're 17 years old and you're a senior in high school, you don't know what you want to do yet, you may still want to go to college and maybe figure it out in those gen ed classes in the first semester, the second semester. But you risk getting stuck in college and getting complacent in college and staying in college just because mommy and daddy want you to be there and they're paying for it. And you get carried away with the Greek life or the social life, and the academic life fades. The academic reasons start to fade. That's very dangerous for a certain type of personality, because what can happen is you can develop these poor habits over the 4 years that you're there that can stick with you long term. Now, you can also develop on the inverse great habits that can stick with you, and it can be very good for you. It just depends on where your head is at. Ultimately, the person who's making the decision has to make a decision. But what I'm trying to eliminate is this old traditional mindset of everyone has to go to college. That's it. No rationale behind it. This is the way it goes. You have to go to college. Why? It could be bad for you. Some kids can get involved in the wrong circles, and it can be bad for them long term. I'm not saying I didn't make the best decisions in college.
Dude, these are great points. I think, sorry, I want to jump in because I'm fascinated on this topic. I was talking with my grandma, right? She's 94 the other day. Love her. She's incredible. We were talking about her college experience. And she said, yeah, I went to college to find a husband. Everyone got engaged by sophomore year. I said, what was your major? She said, home economics. Home economics. She went to learn how to run a home. Back then, that was normal. That blows my mind now, but back then that was normal.
That was in the curriculum?
Education, yeah, home economics, major from Purdue.
If you put that in the curriculum today, there will be
riots.
Right?
But back then, normal.
I think it's a great class, by the way. I just got to say that. I think that's a fantastic class. And guess what?
Yeah.
You can even apply to men. It's not just for women.
100%. I don't know how to run a home. It's tough to run a home, man. So my point being is different generations had different expectations for college, right? So that was our grandparents' generation. Wild, social, find a husband, find a wife, whatever it may be. You then go to next generation, our parents. Well, of course you go to college. College is the piece of paper that guarantees you a corporate ladder to climb to the American dream, right? That's what our grandparents did. That's now what our parents did. I get this piece of paper. I can go work at any of these big corporations and climb my way to the top. Makes sense for their generation. So that now has been instilled and passed down to us, saying, of course you have to go get a job. How are you going to guarantee employment? And our generation, I think, is the first major generation that is seeing loyalty is not often guaranteed. We bounce around a lot. And it's because we're doing mass layoffs to bump up stock prices consistently. Mm-hmm. And many of the jobs are being automated through technology or sometimes outsourced. And so for our generation, to your point exactly, us not wanting to go to college is not because we're lazy or because we think we can do better. That might not be the safe bet anymore. So I love this topic. Sorry, I wanted to nerd out on it with you, but I think it's a fascinating point.
We can keep going. I mean, like, they're expecting you to get into student debt too, by the way. And by the way, they don't properly explain to 17 and 18-year-olds, which should be illegal, what they're signing this piece of paper for, the loan. They don't teach us financial advice to begin with, financial literacy in high school to begin with, and no one knows what a mortgage actually is until they actually need a mortgage. But student loans, it's like hush hush. Like no one even talks about how a student loan is structured, which is absolutely ridiculous. And these are poor 18-year-olds that are personally guaranteeing these loans. I mean, this is the biggest fraud in America. Just that alone, the misinformation, the communication that they did not do to inform us on how it works at a young age. I mean, it's disgusting. But that's one thing. Anyway, I don't want to get stuck on this topic, but it's a good one.
It's certainly a good one. I mean, I think we've had many conversations about it. To be honest, I go back and forth because, if you can't take the money out of it, right? Because you got to pay to go to college, and it's usually very hefty, especially if you choose to go to an out-of-state school or even an in-state school. It's hefty for many. But to your point, Raz, you said you went for the social skills, for the communication, the network. I'm also imagining, similar to myself, it was a place where I felt like I had freedom to be Parker, freedom to learn what it means to be an individual without your parents in like a safe environment, right? There's something nice about that it's almost like the 4 years, which is the stepping stone from childhood to adulthood, where you're on your own, but you're really not. You got people in your corner pushing you along, and you're growing throughout that. And then hopefully by graduation, you're like, all right, I got the skills I need to go conquer the real world. Well, that's why we started Elevation Nation, because we completely realized joining a big corporate job that we had the grades, we had some skills that they wanted. We started the job and we were completely miserable.
Right.
And so I'm curious, from your perspective, you never went the corporate route. You said you started a business and then you started another business. How are you continuing to flex, though, those people skills, especially when you're running a digital company?
That's a really good question, actually. Well, let's start with the corporate route. Are you suggesting that you're going to get those skills just because you join a corporation and you're in office? Because I'd argue you're kind of siloed and you don't get to understand how other departments function, just your department, your role, your team, right? So what exposure are you actually getting going the corporate route? Unless you're curious enough to ask questions about these other departments. But the average person who joins a job are just focused on their job and that's it. As a founder, I started selling on Amazon. My dad funded my first product launch. Call it $5,000-$10,000, not much. We actually made a small profit on that first product launch. I was working with my dad. I had someone to talk to who was experienced, right? So call him a strategic partner. He was. I had to sell my dad. I mean, I know it's my dad, but I had to sell him on the idea for him to fund me. When I kept selling on Amazon, I met a lot of people who were founders and launch their own products to learn from them, and I learned from them. And then when I finally started my own company, and we raised a Series A, by the way. There's a whole other side of this I haven't explained here, but we ended up hiring a lot of people in the U.S. who came from other large corporations who were in their 30s and 40s. And I was this 22, 23-year-old who knew nothing. And I just kind of had to put the pieces together. But it forced me to understand, what departments do I need in this organization? How am I going to delegate all this? What's the headcount forecast that I need to build? What is this going to cost? How much money do I need to raise? And we acquired businesses. It was an M&A roll-up of these Amazon private label brands. I'm leaving out a lot of information, I'm realizing, but, I was dealing with everyone from the level 1 individual contributor to the L10 executives on the team, plus investors and lenders and Amazon themselves. So it gives you that exposure. I was an economics major in college. I learned a lot about economics in college, but the things that I learned sailing on Amazon and forming this company and raising this capital and understanding how to read a P&L and analyze a P&L and extract data-driven decisions based on the P&L, that's I learned more in those first 6 months in business about economics and how the world works than I did in those 4 years in college, truly. So
that's the hard part, right?
Yeah.
Now, I can say, listen, love Maryland. Parker and I do a ton of stuff for the Smith School. We love Terps. There's something that you can't recreate in a classroom that you get with real hands-on experience of falling flat on your face and going, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing right now. And it's hard to replicate that, not in the real world, I guess, right?
100%. It really is. But that's for anything, right? And
yeah,
and that goes back to the argument of how can a professor teach you how to make $1 million if they haven't made $1 million themselves, right? How can they teach you something in a book when they haven't actually built a business themselves? That goes for anything. Even ChatGPT could be dangerous for that reason too, right? You can ask it any question, but do you actually know how to implement it? So
that's a very, very fair point. And I'm sure, Raz, you have learned many, many valuable lessons through the years. I'm sure there's been tons of failures that have been the most revealing to you, which have been some of your most important life lessons. Now that we're in 2025, though, and you're building Talent Hackers, you're crushing it, and you're continuing to grow there. What is next? Where's your vision? Where's your sights set on for the company? Are you thinking about even starting another company one day? Is this it?
Yeah. So we are doing really well right now, thank gosh. And I'm just focused on this business. It is of my utmost priority because we have the balls rolling and the dominoes are falling, and I need to capitalize on what we have. We're way past proof of concept. We're well into 7 figures now, and it's just about scaling. So getting from 1 to 100 now. So I am just focused on that. I'm not even thinking about exiting. It's a very high margin business. So for that reason, to justify an exit, we can talk about multiples and stuff. There's some stuff that I learned acquiring businesses as an owner. It doesn't make sense for me to sell below a 5 or 6x EBITDA multiple. So, but I don't know if I can get that in my space unless I hit a minimum of $5 million in EBITDA to justify that multiple for any PE firm to buy my business. So it's heads down until I get there to reconsider. So yeah, I'm just really focused on scaling. I think so getting from 0 to 1 is one thing, but getting a business to scale is a whole nother thing. And that's what I'm really focusing on trying to do. I don't want to, lose sight and get shiny object syndrome and start another business at this time, even though it hurts not to, because because I'm probably addicted to social media and see a lot of the similar new business ideas you guys see, and it hurts. But I think reinvesting the money I have into this current business, reinvesting my time into this business is probably the most lucrative and net accretive for myself long term at this time.
It's the entrepreneurial bug that I think all of us have, that passion for making something our own and trying to solve the problem and build it out ourselves, is why all of us are obsessed with finding those new businesses. But to your point, sticking and holding true to what you are creating and not leaving too early is huge, right? I can't tell you how many times Parker and I wanted to stop doing Elevation Nation because we didn't know what direction we were headed. Now we get to speak around the country to thousands of people every year. Holy cow. Like, we stuck it out and we're only growing from here. And same with you, obviously continuing to scale, continuing to sell more and have more clients and partners with your business is why you do it. But there's that point that you can't fully see the horizon ahead of you, all the successes that are there, and you want to quit, or you want to pivot, or you want to change, you want to give up. So I'm curious for you, is there a moment that comes to mind where you were like, this maybe isn't it? Maybe it's time to try something different.
This business I've been building for 18 months, 2 years, call it. So maybe any doubts that I had were super early on, but none recent. None recently.
Good for you. I wish I could say the same. I feel like every day I call Parker, I'm like, what are we doing now, bro? Where's our head at? Like, we're still doing this thing? It's nice to have a co-founder that is the positive one of the group and talks me off the ledge. He's very much needed. So
no, that's very
you,
important.
That's awesome.
I'm happy you guys have that partnership. That's a topic by itself that I think can be very helpful to people listening to this podcast. I have a partner. He compliments me very well.
That's good.
It's super important because, he has his ideas and I have my idea. By the way, we've both had ideas to pivot and launch another service or another offer or whatever it may be, but it's important to have that partner remind you, like, okay, this is where we should probably focus. Of course, you want to hear out the new ideas, of course, and you never want to shoot them down right away, but you always want to kind of think through them together periodically to remind yourself, okay, like what was the original thesis here? Okay, are we on track? Yes, no? Okay, great. Like, let's focus on that and get back on track here.
I mean, the thought partner is huge, and I think Sam and I would not be here if it was just one of us. It would look very, very different to be able to have each other to center like balance each other out, and bring one back when the other's going off the wall, and vice versa. But also someone, to your point, like, we had our original thesis as well, and we've stayed on like the lane of where that started, but we might have moved a little bit around and tried new things and tested new things. But you have to have someone to be able to go through that with, because if you don't, you sometimes will get lost and be like, okay, wait, am I doing this for the right thing? Am I doing this for me? Am I doing this for my customer? Like, and you don't know, you're questioning, and the only reinforcement that you're getting, I guess, maybe could be a dollar sign at the bottom of your bank account.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess starting with why, right? Like, figuring out why. Yeah, that's important. For me, it's still dollars in the bank account, honestly. I have a boring life. I have no meaning.
Fair.
Listen,
fair.
No kidding.
At least you're up front. Yeah.
I mean, look, we want to make money, right? It's not a nonprofit. But like, a lot of it's like personal validation too. It's like you want to prove things to yourself. But like, to your point, if you're alone and you're sitting there working from home, by the way, trying to figure this all out, it's hard. It's not easy. And people pay for business coaches to talk to for that reason. I don't need a business coach because I have my partner and I have my entrepreneur family, which I'm very lucky for. I like to say that they're like my business coaches. It's kind of funny.
And now you have Elevation Nation, man. It's one of the reasons Parker and I love this thing. It's lonely and it's scary. And sometimes you're stuck in the same cycles and perspectives and you start spiraling out. And so that's why I'm so excited we get to finally welcome you into the nation so that you have that support system. So I'm glad you're here, man. And we're excited to have you. I want to move us into our our next segment, which is our rapid fire segment. We got a couple quick questions that we like to ask folks. First thing that comes to mind. You ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. I know we had some mixed comments on college, but
Yeah.
thinking back, you went to Maryland. You made a lot of connections. You had a lot of fun. We're all Terps. Do you have a favorite Maryland memory
Oh man,
that you can say on a public podcast?
that's the thing. Rapid fire, huh? What do we got? Oh yeah, we did this like 3v3 basketball tournament thing. We raised money for this close to home cause for all of us. So that was fun. Yeah, yeah.
Did you play well? Did you dunk on somebody?
I
Just a
didn't
good
play.
tournament?
I just helped organize a tournament, and it brought together a lot of the people in Greek life, but also people from
Yeah.
home, and that was really fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, some of those like just bringing people together in college, like around a cause, like yeah, it's a win-win-win-win-win. Like you're raising money and you're spending time with each other. It's such a good time. All right, next rapid fire. I'm on the website right now for talent hackers. You guys are hire. I mean, you guys hire roles in so many different types of positions, and I'm sure all around the globe. What's one place where one of the people who work for talent hackers lives that you need to get to one day?
Nigeria.
Tell us more. Why Nigeria?
Um, it's the sixth most populated country in the world. The median age is 19, which means the population of Nigeria has doubled in the last 19 years. They're very tech enabled. Infrastructure is there. A lot of young people that are very hungry to work for U.S. companies to build their resumes. And there's some of the best dev talent in the world, developers. Um, the native language is English, by the way, so there's no language barrier there. And you can hire them very affordably as well.
It's a great answer.
That's a great answer. I was not expecting that, but like at the same time, I mean, like there's so much out there in the world that like you see through, social media or TV or the news or a book. But like these people who work in these countries. So you're hearing that culture and you're hearing what their lives are like. And so I look at you and I'm like, damn, you probably have a well-rounded perspective of places that you want to go.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Yeah, we internally at Talent Hackers, we have about 15, 16 people that are based in Nigeria, some in Latin America. In my last company, I hired out of Pakistan and the Philippines. I did travel to Pakistan for 2 weeks. This is like 4 years ago, probably. But yeah.
It's something Parker and I are very passionate about is seeing the world, and we try to do that together as much as we can. Now that he's married, he replaced me with his wife, but we still try to see the world together. There's so many cool places, and I think you can learn a lot with a global mindset that typically most Americans who are stuck in our little bubbles of the United States are naive to. So learning from different people is so important to us. I want to round us out with our final question we ask every single person that joins Elevation Nation, whether it's on the podcast or from the thousands of people around the globe that we speak to with our workshops or our keynotes. We talk a lot about mindset and how important that is as a young person to conquer the real world and just be authentically yourself. And so I want to ask you about something we call your mental motto. It's a phrase, a quote, a slogan that embodies who you are at your core. You're obviously an extremely intelligent entrepreneur, grinding and going after their dreams and maybe a bigger bank account right now, but I know there are some big dreams that you have as well. So I'm curious, what is your mental motto?
Really, it's just make it happen. You just got to make it happen, like you almost have to like force things to work out and happen. Like people don't understand. It's just make it happen is really the easiest way I can say it. What is the problem? Make it happen. Figure it out. My dad, I'm Syrian. My father, growing up, whenever I had a problem, I would go to him and Dad, I have this problem. And he would say these Arabic words, Debir halak. What that means is figure it out. And every time he said that growing up, I would be so upset, like, oh, Dad, how do I do this? Or like, help me. I was a kid growing up, and for years, Debir halak, figure it out. And I always had to figure it out, whether it was using a screwdriver or like fixing something. He would tell me to figure it out, and that stuck with me till today. Because what do you do as an entrepreneur? Your job is to solve problems, and so you have to make it happen. You have to figure it out. No one's there to help you, and if you need the help, you seek the help. But you have to ask the questions. You have to solve the problems. The buck stops at you. So I think figure it out. Yeah.
I think that is a perfect way to round out this conversation in particular. We started about talking about college and why do you go to college? You want to meet people and get perspective and learn what it means to be an adult and a businessman. And then you mentioned that you don't have a business coach. Your family are your business coaches. Your co-founder is your person you go to. But in this case, your mental motto is reinforced by your dad. Make it happen. Go do it. And I think it's figure it out. Like that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. And I think it sheds light, Raz, on your mental fortitude and how you carry yourself each and every day to make your dreams a reality. So on behalf of Sam, myself, Elevation Nation, all listeners, just thank you for joining us and sharing your wisdom, your stories, your perspective. And hey, man, this is just a start. Welcome to Elevation Nation, brother.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Great conversation. Thanks for having me on.
Until next week.
Thanks for tuning in to Elevation Nation. If you enjoyed our conversation, hit that subscribe button to get notified when we release a new episode. If you would like to join Elevation Nation or get more information about the nation, please visit our website at www.elevationnation.io. Until next week, Elevation Nation, peace.